Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story is one that we covered a couple of months back, but ever since then, there's been like 3 or 4 new updates to it as well. So if you want to skip certain parts of the story, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. This one's from Throwaway Sunflower Buff, who says, "My wife returned from a work retreat with a hickey. She swears it's a bug bite, but I'm not convinced. I'm at a loss. How do I move forward? I'm 27 male in a fight with my wife, 28 female. We've had fights before, but not this bad. I'm at a loss on how to proceed. For context, we're college sweethearts, married for almost 6 years. We have a daughter, 4 female. Our relationship was never perfect or without challenges. We faced some family opposition with cultural differences, but we've made it work. She's my first love and my best friend. My wife works in corporate. Her job has annual work retreats that last for about a week. This year was in Vegas. I usually arrange my work schedule and tag along with her, and we make our own trip out of it. We couldn't this year. Our daughter gets major anxiety traveling long distances. We're working on it, but she wasn't budging and we decided to choose our battles. So I stayed behind and held down the fort at home. The change of plans was a bummer because the trip was part of us reconnecting as both a couple and as a family. My wife's work hours have taken a toll, and her work/life balance leaves much to be desired. We entertained the idea of her skipping the retreat. Attendance is optional, but it's generally frowned upon if you don't, and my wife's making connections in her field. She grew increasingly weird. We have a system. If either of us is away for extended periods, we keep in contact. For the first day or so, she was herself, but she grew distant. I'd even text her about important stuff and be left on read, while she claimed she never saw my text. Whenever we talked, she was rushing me or our daughters off the phone. These were all times she wasn't involved in retreat activities. We were supposed to have a mini birthday celebration for our daughter over FaceTime. Our daughter was excited. It was something my wife promised her, but because the retreat overlapped her actual birthday. But my wife backed out because she had people up to her room after a seminar. It was like she wanted my permission to break our promise to our daughter. I told her I wasn't offering that nor making her keep her word. She said I wasn't being fair and that this was a networking opportunity. They were business orientated and wouldn't understand her stepping away for family time. I said her decision is her decision and she'd have to explain it to our daughter. She promised her that she'd rain check the following day. Our daughter didn't understand and cried. My wife ended up hanging up and leaving me to comfort our daughter alone. That whole incident rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like it. She didn't keep her word for the rain check either. She was documenting the retreat on social media. One co-worker, 23 male, was almost in every pic/video attached to her hip. In one pic, he has his arm too comfortably around her in my opinion. He's a recent hire in my wife's department. She was asked to oversee him. I don't like the guy. He doesn't know boundaries. Once, in response to a work assignment, he texts my wife that she's exactly the kind of woman he needs to keep him in check. My wife had brushed it off. She feels bad for him because he's not fitting in. She took him under her wing during his first retreat with the team. If I'd question, she'd say she was tired or networking. There was always something, but I've seen her at these retreats. This wasn't like her. She was just off. The day before her return home, she complained about a bruise on her neck. She stressed it was a bug bite. I didn't actually see the bruise until she came home. I instantly thought it was a full-on hickey. She kind of brushed it off after making a big deal of it over the phone. I didn't push because our daughter was present. But when I was able to confront her, she clung to her bug bite claim. When I kept pushing, she asked what I was trying to imply. I outright said I believed she had a hickey, and I didn't believe she was being honest with me. We had it out then. She was offended and pissed at the accusation. Infidelity has always been a sore topic. Her family has a history of infidelity. So we had a pretty bad fight, and she accused me of looking to pick a fight due to the incident with our daughter's birthday. I told her it had nothing to do with that, and everything to do with a hickey on her neck. The fight ended at an impasse. We're still not recovered. She swears it's a bug bite, but I'm not convinced. I've always trusted my wife. I never doubted her, but this bruise doesn't look like a bug bite. It looks like a hickey. I only feel more strongly when I consider how distant and weird she was during the Vegas retreat. Now she's wearing turtlenecks ever since, and we're caught between arguing and her dousing our daughter and me with affection. Communication usually prevails for us, but not now. I think my accusation pushed us to a new level of argument. I'm at a loss here. I really need outside perspectives. How do I move forward? So someone says, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I've never gotten a bug bite that looked like a hickey. Did she show you a phone or provide any proof that could support her innocence or just dismiss you? The extra affection is a common move from guilt-ridden cheaters. Even if we stretch the imagination and believe it's a bug bite, she wasn't acting trustworthy, nor was she a good mother while she was in Vegas, and she needs to address and correct that. Opie says no, I haven't had access to her phone. We usually have an open phone policy, but it's not something we've ever really done. I'm sure it'll be another argument. Another commenter says, why did you go on work trips with her in the past? Did she want you to? Or did you not want her to go alone? What is and why is it necessary to have the system when one of you is away? Whose idea was the FaceTime birthday celebration? Did she not talk to your daughter at all on her birthday or just couldn't do the FaceTime celebration? Opie says work/life balance was an issue, so she'd invite me on the retreats. The system is for an extended periods away from each other, like how long the retreat was, especially since we have a child now. The birthday FaceTime was my wife's idea. She promised our daughter and got her excited about it. No, she didn't talk with our daughter until she was calling to cancel. That's another reason the birthday stunt rubbed me the wrong way. Opie responded to a deleted comment and says, yeah, you don't get to disconnect from being a parent, especially to a minor, for extended holidays. You certainly don't ghost them on their birthday, and when you promise to do something special for them and got the child excited about it or hang up on them while they're crying. I'm not insecure. My wife's gone on these retreats before. We both work outside the home and have the caring for our daughter, so it's not an imbalance. My wife's work/life balance is out of sorts. She's in the company of other adults plenty. I've been with my wife on these retreats and other social events. I know how she is. She was off this entire trip, nor was it appreciated her entertaining a co-worker who ignores boundaries, having his arm wrapped around her waist like he was claiming her or something. I trusted her when she said she had a bug bite. I got things to help her treated for when returned. It was only after I saw the bruise in person that there was no mistaking it was a hickey for me, and I questioned her on it. So 7 days after this, Opie updated and said I, 27 male, wanted to give an update and thank everyone who reached out. The outside perspectives helped. Things are a roller coaster. I'm trying to process. It took a while for my wife, 28 female, and me to have any real conversation about the bruise on her neck. We were stuck between arguing and her showering our daughter, 4 female, and me with affection. I rarely saw the bruise because she was turtlenecked up, but I did note the healing process from reddish purple to yellow. There wasn't any more discussion about the Vegas retreat. She made it clear she was done talking about it and that she shouldn't need to defend herself to her husband. I told her she could do whatever she wanted, but I was done being treated like an idiot, and I wasn't sharing a bed with someone I couldn't trust. So I moved into the guest room. Communication stopped. The silences were palpable. Even our daughter noticed. I'm not proud of that. I tried keeping her out of fights. My wife came to the guest room one night and asked if we could talk. I could tell she had been crying. She said she hated the way things were between us. She felt she was losing me either way. I told her I needed complete honesty. She confessed she hooked up with that co-worker, 23 male, on our daughter's birthday. The hickey was from him. She was lost in the heat of the moment and didn't realize he was sucking so hard on her neck. By her account, they made out while doing some on top of the clothes stuff, and then he went down on her. It stopped there because he called her by a nickname that I affectionately call her. It snapped her back to reality of her actions. She went to splash water on her face and saw the hickey. The guy made light of it and made a joke about the hickey being her souvenir. She blew up on him and kicked him out of her suite. Part of the reason she was avoiding me was out of guilt. She said she's coming clean because she doesn't want to hide things anymore. I asked her why she cheated. What was it about that guy she deemed worthy of risking everything? She claimed it wasn't him specifically, nor is she unhappy with our marriage. She doesn't really know how to explain it, but a part of her feels broken. The more she looks in the mirror, the more she sees her dad, 57 male. A cycle of being consumed with work, distant from child, and the infidelity he put her mum, 55 female, through. She said her family never talked about anything openly, and how when she was growing up, my mother-in-law never addressed anything with her. I said her parents didn't make her cheat. She chose to party up with a guy who constantly disrespected our relationship. These were all her decisions, and she at any point could have chosen our family. She agreed. She wants to blame her parents but realizes this is on her. She apologized for cheating and for entertaining the guy's advances. She said she'd do whatever it takes to repair. Go to HR, quit her job, counseling, anything. She wants to make everything right. I told her I don't know what right looks like or if that's possible for us anymore. I know we had our problems, but I thought there wasn't anything we couldn't talk out. She insisted we still could talk it out. We didn't have to give up on us. She tried giving this rally cry for our relationship, but I felt very numb. I said I didn't recognize her. Not just the betrayal of our vows, but also how she treated our daughter. She's like a stranger. She feels she's failed as a wife and mum, but she loves us both beyond words and wants our life together and our family intact. I told her I couldn't give her the answer she wanted. I thought we needed to separate and reevaluate. She didn't want separation. She felt we should stay together in our home, but I told her a separation was happening. Either she was leaving the home or I was with our daughter. She consented to leaving so as to best not uproot our daughter so much. She asked for our daughter not to be taken away from her. My wife's staying with my in-laws. I know that's difficult in itself because she doesn't have the best relationship with her parents. One of the hardest parts is the shift for our daughter. Right now she believes her mum's just busy with work, per usual. She hasn't questioned it too much. My mother-in-law called the other day. She made no excuses for my wife, but she's advocating for us to work through it. She told me times she's heard my wife describe me as the anchor she's always wanted. She believes there's something worth fighting for if I'm open. Despite some family opposition we faced throughout our relationship, my mother-in-law was always a supporter of us. I'm even more at a loss. I never imagined this kind of betrayal from my wife. She was my safe place. I feel numb, yet broken. I'm in love with her. That hasn't changed, but I don't see myself, her, our relationship, or our family the same. Everything's more tense because it's fresh. I think this period of separation is for the best. I'm not sure about divorce. I haven't let myself fully go there. I'm not set either way. I don't know where things can go from here, but I'm focusing on our daughter and taking things one step at a time. I feel that's all I can do right now. Thanks again to everyone for the support. It's much appreciated. Togar says to this one, it was already established that there had been line crossing with a co-worker prior to the trip, even if it wasn't physical yet. But even if there hadn't been, I've known co-workers' pet names for their significant others before when only interacting with them on a professional level. The fact that this guy both intentionally gave her a Hickey and used the pet name says a whole hell of a lot about him though. Someone willing to engage in an affair is bad enough. This guy was doing it as some kind of sick power play. Commenter says, it's also possible that it's something super common like honey or baby. Opie says no, it's a specific nickname. It's not derived from her name or anything, it's just summed up things I've loved about her in one word. Apparently he turned it into a sexual context. Right to Make Kiwi says, one question, how close was the colleague to her to know her nickname that you use? And why did she let him this close to her literally and figuratively? Opie says, at the time, I knew they had a friendship. She was asked to mentor him as he joined her department, so she took him under the wing and supposed to be showing him the ropes. They would text and stuff and he would cross boundaries. His text increasingly read like a guy fishing for an opportunity. My wife shut the idea down as not even a factor for her, and I chose to trust my wife because I never had a reason to doubt her before. As far as the nickname, it was something only I called her, but it wasn't like a secret thing. I called her it in front of others and our daughter. She claims the guy overheard me say it when she had me on speaker once, and he asked her about it after. So Opie comes in with another update and says, thank you again to everyone. I-27 Mail couldn't respond to every message, but everything's appreciated. I wanted to provide an update. Things have been a little chaotic with a new status quo after my wife's 28 female affair. but I'm taking everything one step at a time. My wife and I explained the separation to our daughter, all female, in simple, concrete terms, and reassured her that we both still love her without going into the reasons behind the separation. Our daughter's always been an observant kid, but I don't think the separation has hit her yet. She doesn't see the difference between her mum not being at home and her usual busy with work. During visits, she's more distant towards her mum and clings to me. My wife attempted to play with her on this toy set, but our daughter wasn't having it and shouted at her mum that she didn't want to play with her. The disconnect between my daughter and wife hurts in a way, and I'm still processing. I knew my wife's work-life balance took its toll. Pre-Vegas, we were supposed to be working on reconnecting, but just how fractured things are is a lot more apparent. Our daughter interacts very little with her mum and becomes quiet around her like she does with strangers. I feel at her age, we, as her parents, should be who she's closest with, and not this disconnected from her mum. This dynamic is something I've been reflecting on. My main focus is making sure my daughter's okay through all of this. As far as between my wife and me, she's advocating for us to reconcile. She's expressed she wants to work on our marriage, not solely for our daughter, but because she loves me. Her rally cries for our relationship are still falling flat for me. I can't give her what she wants right now. I told her I wish she would given herself these rallies before cheating. She's adamant about the affair timeline and what occurred with a co-worker, 23 male. They connected because she felt bad he wasn't fitting in. He kept flirting and treating her like royalty. It started feeling good on the rougher work days. They had an emotional affair even though she didn't label it as such at the time. The emotional affair turned physical during the retreat. She disassociated from her life back home while away in Vegas. She still swears they had sex only once. The Hickey came from foreplay, and while giving her oral, he called her my nickname for her, which shook her out of it. She snapped at him about his immature attitude with a Hickey and kicked him out of her suite. She thought she could quietly end things and salvage our marriage. I asked her if she wore a wedding ring during sex with him. She confessed that she did. Knowing this hurts like hell. To me, our wedding rings were a physical symbol of our love, commitment to our vows and our bond. She tarnished our rings. I haven't been able to wear mine. It never hurts any less. They are just new levels to hurt. She admits to contributing to blurred lines. She's now changed her number and claims to have cut contact with a co-worker. She reported the affair to HR. The company has suspended both of them while they investigate the extent to which the affair impacted the department. Co-worker relations violate their policy, and it doesn't look good for my wife in terms of power imbalance since she was the guy's mentor. They're also calling into question if she gave him favoritism. Some have suggested I reach out to the co-worker. I've considered it, but I'm not in a place to. I feel a lot of anger towards him. He knew exactly what he was doing with the Hickey and nickname stunt. I wouldn't get anything from him except trouble. He's not worth it. I'm choosing to focus on my daughter. I've chosen to pursue marriage counseling. This isn't under the promise of reconciling, but as an assist in working through the separation as healthy as possible for our daughter. I'm still numb in a lot of ways. I never thought this would be how my marriage and family turned out. I've seen it happen to others. I've heard stories. I thought I knew what it was like, but it's nothing compared to dealing with it yourself. I don't feel the same person anymore. I don't know how everything will pan out. It's an uphill battle, but I'm trying to show up to the battle. It's the best I can do right now. Thank you to everyone who's reached out. I appreciate the support. Really. 2 weeks after that, OP comes in again and says thank you to everyone who reached out. I-27 Male wanted to provide an update. Things aren't easy. I didn't expect them to be. I don't regret the decision to separate. It was necessary. In many ways, I feel like my hand was forced with the betrayal and all the lies. I'm still finding my footing. I don't put people on pedestals, nor did I ever believe my wife's 28 female and my relationship was perfect. I just didn't think we'd end up like this after all this time together. While HR were still conducting their investigation of my wife and the co-worker, 23 male, my wife resigned. Apparently she received pushback. Some of the top brass were pulling for her to stay on. I wasn't too surprised because she's always been a yes employee who gets the job done. She worked with the company back as an intern in college. She says she wants to prove that she's taken every possible action in cutting ties with the guy. I don't know what the investigation result was for him. I don't care, to be honest. It's not a concern of mine. We've officially begun marriage counseling. It's a new experience overall. I didn't know what to expect. We're mostly discussing our relationship's journey up to now, the affair, and what we want from counseling. My wife's position on how the affair began remains consistent. She can't really explain it precisely. She wasn't unhappy with me, but a part of her feels broken. The undivided special attention became like a drug to her. The convo kind of shifted to my in-laws, 57 male, 55 female, my wife's family life, and the impact of my father-in-law's infidelity. She believes she's a reflection of her dad and how she is both a parent and a spouse. As a parent, she tried convincing herself she was better than him by showering our daughter, all female, with gifts in light of her lacking presence. As a spouse, she tried convincing herself she was better because the affair wasn't physical pre-Vegas. She thought as long as they didn't do anything physical, then she was better than her dad. That was something she told her affair partner while in Vegas actually. They could hang out as long as it didn't turn physical. I feel like she had so many chances to choose differently, to choose us and our family, but she tossed our daughter and myself to the train tracks. Our relationship wasn't enough to stop her. Our wedding rings weren't enough, and our crying daughter wasn't enough. She chose herself every time. She was selfish. She mentions the nickname thing, making her snap back into reality as if it's supposed to make me feel better. It doesn't. I believe she only stopped at oral because she got off and had no more need to go further. I wasn't on her mind. Telling me that is like trying to put a band-aid on a gunshot wound. I didn't plan to say half of everything I did, but there was no going back once the door was opened, during my turn to talk. She agreed and says she has no excuse for her actions. It's not her parents, it's her. She swore she loves me and our daughter and wants to fight for our family. I told her the I love yous felt hollow now. She shut out our daughter and myself to give an intimate part of herself to a co-worker. She said she realizes how much larger than just the affair our problems are. She struggles connecting with our daughter and worries about messing her up. So she left the primary caretaking to me. She believes I'm better at it. She said there's nothing she can say to change anything, but she wants to show change through her present actions. That's some stuff we've dug through in counseling. We're still in the early stages, but I believe it's aiding in communication through separation, which is more healthy for our daughter. Our therapist recommended individual counseling as a complement. It's something I'm seriously researching for myself. Not much has changed with our daughter since the previous update. She still doesn't feel there's a difference between her mum being home or not. I watched her go from talkative and playful to instantly completely silent when her mum came by. I've scheduled for her play therapy. I don't know what to expect from that either, but I'm hoping for the best. My main goal is being present for her. I know I need to learn how to trust again in general. That's shot right now. Pre-Vegas, I never had a reason to doubt my wife. My trust was something she had as an irreplaceable partner. I've been betrayed before, but this one did a number in ways the others hadn't. I'm trying to stay afloat and focus on what I have rather than what I lost. I can't afford to get lost in myself. Thank you to everyone for the support and for sharing your own experiences. Talking about this isn't easy for me, but I appreciate the openness. But Opie comes in with a fourth update and says, I wanted to provide an update on things. I didn't have much new to say about therapy in itself. I'm staying the course with marriage counseling and my wife and I have both begun individual counseling. It's an interesting experience and has given me an outlet. I see that individual counseling is a nice complement to marriage counseling. My wife keeps her therapy appointments. She's journaling too. I'm surprised because journaling wasn't something she's ever really believed in. In marriage counseling, she said it's helping her reflect. Our daughter has begun play therapy. We're still in the early stages. She's hesitant but coming round to it. When she gets going though, you can't get the toys out of her hands. It's reassuring seeing her in an environment where she's engaging and being more herself. It gives me hope that she'll be okay through everything. The play therapist has been discussing when best to involve my wife. Nothing's concrete yet. I also want to progress that I rate our daughter's comfortable with and not force anything. I'm really proud of her. She's a major reason why I can't regret being with my wife. There are a lot of things I'd tell my younger self, but if I'd chosen a different path, then I wouldn't have my daughter. It's something I wouldn't change. I had another major challenge recently. It was my wife's and my anniversary. Our anniversary always meant something to me, even with a terrible work-life balance. We'd made an effort to make the occasion special. I felt a lot of conflicting emotions about our anniversary this year, mostly pain. We had plans. Everything was booked and set pre-Vegas retreat. Needless to say, the trip was cancelled. My wife wanted to keep our plans intact, but I told her that wasn't happening. Without the trip, she said she still wanted us to spend our official anniversary together instead of separately. I turned her down. We discussed it in therapy. I expressed I didn't have the needed trust in her to let myself be vulnerable with her as I once was. I needed to process the anniversary on my own. The anniversary had me having all these strange thoughts. A lot of it highlighted how much I missed my friend and partner. I'm not talking about reconciliation. I'm not entertaining that right now. I'm talking about something deeper. To share a life with someone and everything that entails. Then being your partner and closest friend, and then having what you devoted yourself to yanked away. I can't be with her in all the ways I wanted. Call it simping, call it foolish, call it a doormat, call it whatever you want. I just call the facts of falling in love and giving them your all for a long time, then finding out they had another life and losing what you held close. It hurts, and I hadn't let myself actually feel it until then. I feel like everything moves on. Life moves on. My wife's affair partner, 23 male, moves on. Work moves on. And here I am. I'm the only one who's living the loss. I'm the one who's paying. I also wanted to address an FHQ. I've been asked a lot about what I meant in the first post about the cultural differences and family opposition my wife and I faced. We're an interracial couple. My wife's Korean. We're both minorities, but my father-in-law, 57 male, and his side of the family wanted my wife to settle down with someone who's Korean. They're conservative in their beliefs. So I wasn't exactly welcomed, and we dealt with opposition from that angle. It was rough. Even at our wedding, my father-in-law was more a silent attendee. Because of my wife and father-in-law's strained relationship, she was firm that she didn't care about his approval. She rejected him walking her down the aisle, which, of course, didn't help their relationship. My wife made her own choice. I had nothing to do with it, but anger was thrown at me. My father-in-law took it as I influenced her against him, and his side of the family said my wife wasn't being a good daughter. Things with my father-in-law didn't really mend until our daughter. He mellowed after becoming a grandpa and became receptive towards me. Despite our past, he's doting as a grandparent. My mother-in-law's 55 female, a different story. She's always been welcoming and supportive of our relationship. Her support made a difference. She's been like a mother to me. I'm realizing more and more the rippling effects of an affair, how much it just takes and consumes. The different facets to the loss. I lost not only the life I chose, but also family and friends. Just keep losing. That's pretty much all there is to update about. Thank you to everyone for the support. Even if I couldn't respond, just know everything is much appreciated. It means a great deal. So, Opie comes in with another update and says, sorry for the lack of response. There are a lot of replies and questions I've missed due to things being chaotic, and I wanted to address what I couldn't reply to and give an update. Play therapy is a learning curve. My daughter is still hesitant, but she's getting more used to the therapist. I think the current pace we've set works. I'm letting her be in the moment and allowing that to guide what she's ready for. I don't want to force anything. My wife is now being included in play therapy. The focus so far is letting her and our daughter engage together in playful activities guided by the therapist and addressing behavioral and emotional challenges and improving communication. Something we're tackling is feeling charade. I've never done it before. Our daughter usually communicates with me on her own, but she struggles with wording certain emotions. It's completely understandable. She's only 4. My hope is these exercises will only benefit her. My wife's inclusion hasn't been progressive, to be honest. We're still in the early stages. I don't know. Our daughter really clams up around her. She's okay with my wife being in the room, but she's not very receptive otherwise. Recently for play therapy, my daughter made a drawing of our family. It was mostly stick figures, but she had her own little style to it and indicators of who was who. It was adorable, but also bittersweet. The drawing included herself, me and her grandparents, but not her mum. My wife was nowhere to be found. When asked where her mum was, my daughter's exact words were, "Uma's never around, and Uma's mean." Mean is typically how our daughter communicates that someone's hurt her or someone else. She called her mum mean while my wife broke her FaceTime birthday promise during the Vegas retreat. She said it before my wife hung up. There was another time around the holiday she called my wife mean. My daughter was assisting me with baking and she got really excited and cheering. My wife was supposed to join us, but she didn't and took a work call. She raised her voice at our daughter as she told her to quiet down. I didn't like the tone my wife took with our daughter. She was just excited and wanted to help, and it was supposed to be family time. My wife was the one who took the call in the same room without warning anyone. We argued later, but it was resolved, and she apologized to our daughter. Being left out of the drawing bothered my wife. She expressed that she overthinks and doesn't believe she's good at connecting with our daughter. She feels our daughter prefers me over her. The whole incident struck another chord with me. I've been mulling it over. We've discussed it in marriage counseling, and for me, in individual counseling. It hurts to see how fractured things are between my daughter and my wife. Despite my wife's infidelity, I don't take pleasure in a suffering relationship. I'm not rooting against her. I want their relationship to be okay. I believe my daughter needs her mum too. Am I wrong in thinking that there are things a daughter will want to talk with her mum about or to share specifically with her mum, even if the other parent is involved? Part of me feels responsible for their lack of relationship, like I should have stepped in sooner. I never realized how bad things were. Before I held on to the promise of just one more work project and then my wife would be involved more, and how we were still a family. The affair changed my outlook. I don't know when exactly things went off course. Having kids was something we both wanted. It wasn't a singular convo, but one we revisited over the years. We actually wanted more kids. Pre-affair, we had discussions, but I had put that potential on hold because it was clear we needed to reconnect as a family unit already present. I saw and felt the love and care my wife had for our daughter during the pregnancy. It was palpable. I always thought our daughter was evidence of the bond we shared. My wife's maternity leave ended shortly after she gave birth. She resumed work full-time at the office. I would say there was a noticeable change then, and the disconnect grew from there. I just feel like somewhere along the line I let my daughter down, and perhaps was also blinded by my love for my wife. I'm at a complete loss. I feel their relationship falls on me. The play therapist said we can only take it one step at a time. I've been frequently asked about our daughter picking up on the rift between my wife and me, and whether we fought in front of her. I wanted to address that here. My wife and I have had our fights, but I can't say we fought in front of our daughter. We'd usually pause and revisit if our daughter was around and not let it reflect in front of her. After the affair, I haven't badmouthed my wife to our daughter. I try explaining the separation and addressing any question in simple ways without throwing stuff on her or my personal feelings. I'm really trying. I want the best for my daughter. I don't want my wife's affair to take any more from our daughter than it already has. It hurts like hell, but I can deal. My daughter is only a kid. I don't know how my mother-in-law 55 female did it, and I don't believe it's something I can ask her. I wanted to thank everyone for the support. It means a lot. Hearing your experiences means something. I think there's hope to be found in it. I appreciate everything. So the top commenter on that one said, "Is your wife trying to build a relationship with your daughter? This is just so sad." Opie says they have spent more time together than previously, but sometimes I observed was awkward silence or our daughter mostly playing with my in-laws. Electrical says, "Has your wife moved back in or are you still separated? Is it possible that the relationship between your wife and your daughter might improve if you were all living in the same house? That is, of course, if you're contemplating reconciliation." Opie says we're still separated. I honestly don't know if there would be any improvement. There wasn't much when we were all under the same roof. My daughter does have allotted time with her mum throughout the week. I just came out of this feeling that's just like an incredibly sad situation all around. And while the wife is asking for reconciliation and wanting that and trying to prove it in her actions, but those actions before, during, and after the affair is showing like quite a bit of selfishness, to breaking the promises to the daughter, the prioritizing, network over the family stuff, and lying repeatedly about the Hickey. And then we got to the bit towards the end there with the family picture, at the grandparents, at OP, at the daughter, the mum just wasn't included. Imagine being a parent and seeing that you wasn't included in your daughter's family photo. Fucking hell. And whilst there seems to be a lot going on emotionally, I think OP's handling it pretty well from what I can see. I think it's such a difficult position. You're balancing what you've been through. You've been betrayed in like one of the worst ways possible and dealing with that, but also trying to protect your daughter at the same time. Got therapy for himself, for his daughter. They're trying marriage stuff, whether that's going to work or not. What people think of that is up to them, right? But also not making the wife in this to be the villain to the daughter. And it will be interesting in the future whether they actually do get back together or not, or they just do develop some sort of healthy co-parenting relationship where the daughter does see the mum in a more positive light. But what do you guys make of this one? Gee whiz. How do you think it's going to go in the end? Do you think that they may get back together or not? I can't imagine what Opie's going through mentally, you know, juggling all these different little parts of it as well, and just trying to consider what's right in every little situation. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.